against that deck. That deck was very talkative last time.
Are you putting bad juju on my cards?
I'm not putting bad juju. I'm like, give me good shit. Oh, is it? Oh, the fairy ones. I do like the fairy ones. See, now it attacked me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty. It looks like it would taste like piss.
You don't even hold it right.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah? Oh.
I really don't like alcohol. It tastes like alcohol.
Yeah, it is nice.
That's very nice.
I'm glad you like it. Enjoy.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Cheers.
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 Chaotic reading.
Wee! My actual fruity, barely alcohol.
Alright, so.
Okay.
We'll get to that one when we get to that one.
Okay. Oh, I remember that one.
Nice. Glad to see a repeat. Cool.
Why is that big?
I might actually flip all of them and get a better sense of what's going on. I knew that one was coming. Okay. So we're at the end of March. So this would be April, February, March, April, May, June, July. Makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
August, September, October, November, December, just a touch into January again.
Okay. And those are the sub.
Yeah. No themes. Oh. Okay. All right. Not what you think it means. Sorry.
Well, because it's upside down, technically.
No, I don't read reversals like that.
Oh, you don't. That's
Unless
right.
it seems important for it to be reversed. A lot of ladies in your life this year. A lot of prominent ladies.
Okay. I do see that.
Are you secretly gay?
I don't see...
I don't really have a sexual orientation other than demisexual.
That makes sense.
Love does not seem to be the prominent story here, regardless. I'm going to do an overarching, and then I'll go into detail. Last year we talked about expanding your spiritual life, your intuition, your gifts, working on that, and I see that a lot this year. This is a very magic-heavy spirituality deck, spread. There we go.
Spread.
Okay, so actually I'm gonna start with these two.
Okay.
Character. Since these are the first two to flip upright, I saw them as pinnacle points for the year. This one also flipped upright, but it was not intended to be flipped upright. But since it was, I couldn't reflip it. So Two of Swords and our Lover's card going around here, and also this one a little bit, but not as much. These two Lovers is ruled by Gemini, and this is very much a Gemini card, and July is Gemini season / June, July's, or Gemini season. And I don't think it's going to be a significant Gemini because the women over here are not, it's not screaming Gemini to me. There is definitely an airiness. Airiness is prominent throughout here. We've got a lot of air stuff going on, so air as the element is going to be creativity. It's going to be touching into that spirituality. It's going to be touching into the ether sort of area, heavy in the thoughts, but the thoughts themselves aren't heavy. So a lot of thinking, a lot of debating. Internal life, I'm not going to see a battle. It does not seem a battle. This is like, it's being developed heartily. This is a really good inner life is the way this feels. I know this seems very drastic, but this isn't you. This is somebody outside of you. These are all external people. These are not you. This is not in age, but this is closer to you and the lessons that you're going through this year at this time period. We have 44 and 43 here, so this is these two are like chronological, which is pretty nice. The unicorn and the maiden speaks of that communication, touching in with the fairy, touching in with the source, whatever it is that you talk with. I would definitely recommend looking back to what was the specifics of last time, because it's going to relate to this time. Whenever you do a reading and you get the same card, reference the past time, because it doesn't mean you haven't learned it, but it means it's still relevant. It's still a still prominent message for where you're at and where you're going to be.
Okay.
And this card, Lantern, this speaks of your internal light and integration, speaking of all of these life lessons that you're learning, and instead of seeing them as these as the giant mountains, as the obstacles in your way, you're seeing it as, this was a lesson that I learned, and now I can share this light with others. Now I can look at other problems with this light, with this knowledge, with this understanding. And this light and this knowledge is coming from that connection here. It's coming from within you and without you, and not other people. It's whatever you connect to, whatever your source is in you, not the abstract, like your source where you're like, me. That's where you're getting this light from, and that's where you're getting this information from. And it's helping you navigate the world in a whole new way, because you're able to flow better. You're able to see these things where you would have gotten stuck before, see these things where you would have been trapped in this whirlwind of thoughts, in all of these negative self-doubting and like forcing yourself to do things. You're seeing it and you're like, I don't need to do that. I already learned. I see it and I'm gonna go around it. I'm gonna pass that. And with that, you're going to have to start facing the new lessons and the new challenges and the new questions. Because ultimately, what the Two of Swords, what the Lovers, and Gemini is about is choices. And I remember choices being a prominent figure of last time too, but it was a different set of choice. Like, it was relevant, but not as deep as this one. And I'm gonna say, our choices, since these are directly conflicting each other, is, are you going to enjoy this? Or are you gonna adapt to it? Are you gonna enjoy yourself where you are? Are you gonna enjoy the situation as it is? Or are you gonna force yourself to adapt? Are you gonna change yourself? Are you gonna change the world around you so that you can prosper? Or are you gonna prosper how you are? Neither of them's better than the other. They're both really good things, but where are you at? Is now the time to relax and let yourself grow here? Or do you need to put in more work? Do you need to put out thorns? Do you need to put out barriers so that you can enjoy later? That's what your questioning is going to be. Either way, you're still setting down roots, you're still putting out flowers and fruit, you're still prospering, but they're two different, very different ways of prospering. And that's kind of, these two, I know it's the same deck, but it's more or less the same thing. This is talking about the direct communication, and this is kind of like taking a look at the other side. This is taking a peek and seeing what it's actually like. Like, you're not just talking, you're not just communicating, you're like, oh, this is what this is. This is what that's like. Okay. And it's just a peek. You're not there to stay. You're just taking a look to see what it's like.
That's why it's a glimpse.
And it's something you have to choose if you're going to develop that. Because you're going to look down both ways.
I see.
Yeah. And I don't think you're making the choice here. I think you're going to be sitting on that choice for a while. And these people are going to have a heavy influence on that choice. But don't let their word be your decision.
Right.
Take it into consideration, but ultimately, you're going to know in you what the right way to go is. And if that way changes, trust it. Just because you picked a way does not mean you have to stay that way. You have every right and every mean to change your mind. You can set down roots and go, actually, I think it'd be better over here. Or actually, let's just stay. You know? It's okay to change. Now let's talk about these people. These interesting people in your life. So we've got, I'm going to say, middle-aged women. I'm going to peg 30 to 50-year-old in this range. And then I'm going to say a younger woman, 20 to 30 over here. So, I mean, 30's in that nice, could apply to all three of these. Of course, spice. We're going to be coming with some spice on this one. This person is going to be rather cutthroat. They're going to be seeing in black and white. It is, you know, my way or the highway, but in a lot more aggressive way, because the highway's not even relevant. It's me or it's not. And I don't feel like this person's even important enough to be asking you that question. But they're making themselves out to be that important. They're going to have some insight for you. They're going to have some good information to share with you. They're going to have some light to shed into your world. But it's not going to be that prominent. It's going to be a little like birthday cake candle size flame. Versus like you have a whole ass lantern. So they're just offering this little, which doesn't devalue it, but it's small. They have a small offering to give you. And I just want to make that clear because they're going to come at you like they're a big deal. It's all them. And then to contrast that, this person is really mysterious. Can't get a read on them. Not that I can't get a read on them, but you can't get a read on them. Their intentions seem muddled. They're going to lead you this way and then do that. But it's not out of malice. I don't think this person is intentionally doing it. It seems like they're just trying to own to their own, changing their mind. And I feel like there's going to be a connection in honoring each other's choices to change. It's going to be super uncomfy honoring other people's choice to change, but it's going to be good growth for both of you, acknowledging and accepting that. I really want to say everyone, but everyone is not the right word right now. That you two, specifically, have the right to be changing like this, to be going wishy-washy. And it's not wishy-washy in the negative way, it's wishy-washy like the waves on the shore.
Right.
Because they're going to come and they're going to recede. And that's perfect, because that's the way the water is.
The ebb and flow.
And then this person. I don't know too much about this person. I feel like this person is going to be more important to her than to you, but there is still a connection. Her effect on her will be affecting you. But I don't feel like you will deal with her directly too much.
I see.
I don't have too much to say about her.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going into Green Fairy, which is one of the cards that is super, super ambiguous. So ambiguous. It's just but. It is fairy and but. And we have Magic Frog and Whispers of Spring, which Whispers of Spring is really unfortunate to have in January because that's global warming right there. Where are we at chronologically? So that's November. Green Fairy.
This was July,
Mm-hmm.
August, September, October, November, December, January.
Wow, that it was like flowing and then stop.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, it almost tells a story.
And then here's something
And then
else
it's
happening.
totally random. So it might be this is a conclusion.
Yeah. This is something new beginning.
Interesting. So maybe the main thing, the guidance, the spiritual guidance is kind of...
It's going to be most of the year, so spiritual guidance. And this...
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's toward the end of
Put
the...
that up there. Or hold it.
I mean, it's toward the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of still vague, I guess.
And this card does still speak towards your spirituality, but it's closer to childlike whimsical is what this is geared towards. And this is at... For a second, I thought it was chronological again. I saw the 24 and 23.
No, that's 32.
Come back, brain. I got distracted. I saw the numbers and that was it. It was gone. Because now I want to look at the rest of them. See how many... Okay, yeah. So pay attention to 4s and 3s. Because we've got 44, 34, 43, 24, and 32. So pay attention to 4 and 3.
Okay.
The rest of these numbers are not as significant. And I'm not good with numerology. I just pay attention when it shows up. I do know that 4 is stability and 3 is change. That was wrong. I did 5 and then 4 with my fingers, but
yeah, there are a lot of 4s and 3s, it looks like.
Yeah. But the childlike whimsical is seeing things with innocent eyes, is the way my art teacher describes it. So when you, example, not specific, but when you go outside and you look and you're like, oh, it's a beautiful day. But when you look, like you actually look, and you're like, oh, there's a new leaf on that plant. Look at it unfurling. Or, oh, the strawberries are blooming. But take a look. No fruit yet. But it's seeing the minor details. And it's also going, I know you're not a mushroom hunter, but again, this is something that just came up in my life that is relevant to this, where I'm thinking, oh, it's too hot for mushrooms. In my head, I don't need to look down. And then I look down, and there was mushrooms. So even though, in my head logically, which is again speaking to trusting your intuition throughout this year, but this is in a much more gentler and less like strong focused way. Like this is just letting yourself, like, oh man, all these little thoughts, like, oh, maybe the pot in the coffee is empty already, like I don't have to take it out in trash. But you're like, oh, it's always left in there, and you open it up and somebody already took it out. You know, it's like little, it seems really small, but it's the little things.
It's the little things in life.
And it's not that those things are big, but it's that little, oh, yay, it was there. Oh, yay. It's focusing on those things and just letting them be. And being happy for those little things. Being happy for those little moments when you're like, please don't lick me in the face. And they don't lick you in the face. I'm going to have to pull a card on that one. And Whispers of Spring, you know, is a good card, but I'm really not liking it in January. Of course, it is talking of new beginnings, of new chances, But she's sitting on a rose with pretty prominent thorns, I might add. So those new things are coming, but what are they coming from? Are they coming from good sources? Should these things be coming? So touch of spring, but a hint of warning for January. And I'm going to draw... Yes, it will draw from you. So I see that as Four of Swords is a time of rest. And again, 4. It's a time of rest, of stability, of trust. Trust in the body. Trust in the home. Like, truly beautiful, deep rest. And I think it's important that the color scheme is exactly the same. So I'm seeing a connection to water, which of course you are water. But maybe you actually get to go out to the water. Maybe you actually get to go be with your, like... Homeland is the word coming to mind, but not necessarily exact homeland.
My element.
Yeah, get back to your element. A chance to really, like, rest and recuperate and connect to you wholly. Instead of just... This is a hyper-focus on the spirituality and learning about this side of yourself and cultivating it. And this is like, hey, wait. Remember, like, the rest of you. Remember the body. Remember the world around you, especially with this card coming in after that. Remember outside of you. Remember all the little things that you really had no part in playing, but were there for you anyways. It seems, hey, you asked for a good year. This seems like a pretty good year. And it feels like it wraps itself up, too.
It feels like a story.
Yeah.
This will be interesting. So 3 ladies, huh? Interesting.
Is there any area you have questions about?
I guess not really. I was just fascinated with how well that seemed like a story.
Mm-hmm. All of them just well connected. And I mean, chopping. It's an axe right there. Really stopped the story there.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it seems like something will be resolved, even though I have some conflict of choices. Interesting. Very interesting. Where last year it seemed like it was just very... I don't know.
Problem solution.
Well, not even that. Just kind of... This is kind of a theme for that month.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Each month plays a part of the whole year. Like...
Right.
It was less important what month was what.
Right. Where you drew cards and they're almost related to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Where the others were kind of, I guess random, which they are, but this seems so much more connected, and I just find that fascinating. Especially with how chaotic and unfocused the drawing was. Of course she comes now.
Okay, now that... Oh.
Yes.
Nothing. I didn't realize I
What
was
you...
going to be interrupting a video.
Puppy! Oh, no! No!
These guys are so not yours.
Oh my goodness. Cheyenne!
They're not even your traits.
So, that's interesting. to take in consideration for last
It
time.
is, yeah.
You were so focused, but it was just luck of the draw. Or unluck of the draw. So that's interesting. And what do you think?
Global warming is real bad. Like you said, we don't have jalapenos.
We don't have
March.
jalapenos? Oh, I thought you meant in general, like they're gone. I was about to say that's a surprise
No,
extinction.
just the major jalapeno grower in Mexico. The primary jalapeno grower. Yes, global warming is in fact real bad. Like you said.
Yeah.
And I do wish that I got sushi.
Well, I mean, it's not too late. Well, I mean, it is a little bit. 'Cause I don't think we should try it, but
That's our take on all this. Okay.
Yeah.
I did miss like most of it.
Or are you just checked out?
I wasn't here.
Yeah, checked out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Checked out, okay.
Yeah.